Alright, now we're going to take a look at the second solo section in Satch Boogie. We're once again going to be soloing over an A, a D, and then F sharp. And I'll tell you when we're going to be doing those respective sections. So we're going to start out over A, and we're going to do this little phrase. Alright, so let's get right to it. We have a little thing. We're going to hold our first finger here at the 5th fret on the high E string, and then your pinky at the 8th fret on the B string, and go pick the B string, then an upstroke on the E string, and let them ring together, and do that 6 times. Then go down 1 fret on the B string to the 7th fret with your 3rd finger, and do that same picking pattern twice. And then we're going to have some double stops here. We're going to pick the 5 across the B and the E strings on the little bar here with your first finger. Then come to the 7s at the B and the G strings and do some slight bends on it. So we're going to do that little maneuver 3 times. Alright, so far we have you can use 1 finger to do those bends if you feel more comfortable instead of 2. I like using 2. Then we're going to go into this little phrase. So what's going on there? We have the typical blues lick here, which is 7 on the G string, bent up a whole step, then 5 on the B, 5 on the E. Do that twice. Then come back down to the 7 on the G, hold it briefly, and then do a bend, and then pull off to the 5. So we got Then we're going to start a series of pull-offs to open strings, kind of following the pentatonic scale. So we're going to start with the 7 on the G string. We're going to pick it and pull off to 0. Then do the same thing at 5 on the G string. Then come over to the 4, the 4th string, and do 5, pull off to 0. Then the 5 on the A string, pull off to 0. Then go down to 3 on that A string. Back to the 5, back to the 3. This time, don't pull off. You just play the 3 and then slide to the A on the 4th string, the 7th fret. So those pull-offs once again are 7, 5 on the 3rd, then the 5th fret on the D string, 5th fret on the A, 3rd fret A, back to the 5th fret on the A string, back to the 3rd fret, no pull off, and just hit like a harmonic, slide into that, really dig into that note when you slide into that, creating a harmonic on the 4th string there. Alright, so all together we have I'm sorry, let me do it one more time. Okay, now we have this little pick tapping part. We're still over A. Let me just show you first what's going to be happening. We're going to be taking our pick. You're going to take your pick a lot of times and just put it on its edge, on the side of its pick, and then instead of tapping the fret, tapping between the frets with your finger like you normally do in your finger tapping, you're going to be tapping with the pick and just hitting it and coming off the pick. And you can get this little quick like kind of vibration in your hand that all right, and it's a faster way of doing tapping because you just literally have to just vibrate your hand on the fret, and it just the pick takes care of the rest. So we're going to be doing that tapping at the 14th fret the entire time here. Now the notes that are going to be going on the left hand are this. On the same string, everything's on the G string. We're going to have 12, 11, 9, 11, 12. Then come back down, 11, 9. So we basically keep going just up and down. I mean down, then back up, then back down, 3 notes. Then shift down to the third, the third string 7th fret. Then play 9, back to 7, 5. So that's just 7, 9, 7, 5. Altogether, the notes we have are. And with that, you'll be doing the tapping. All right, so you just kind of work on it, just getting the... You gotta kind of listen to the timing of that melody. It's not dead, 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 dead straight through. Some are held a little bit longer than others, but as long as you know the melody, it's a really easy part to get down because you're just basically going over and over again with the tapping. All right, and then we're gonna have a harmonic. You just kind of brush this harmonic. That is at the third, the G string, the harmonic at the 5th fret. Just pick it and do a couple of whammy bar dips, and then he raises the whammy bar, which I obviously can't do. I don't have a floating trim system on this guitar, but he's still got the same harmonic going. You just bring your whammy bar up so it raises the pitch really quickly, and then you do the A string and just kind of open A string and kind of bar dive it. All right, so it's just. All right. Then we have the next section here. We're going to be over now the D chord. So that's over the D chord. So we finally made it to the D. And we're going to be doing some double stops here. We're going to have the 5th fret across the B and G strings. Then hit that a couple times, and then have 7 on the G string and A on the B string. Hit that twice, and then take your pinky that's on the B string and lower it 1 fret, so we have 7 and 7 on those G and B strings. And then hit the double stop on, so we have this. Then play the double stop here, the 2 5s on the B and the E strings, the first 2 strings. And then put your 3rd finger at the 7th fret on the high E, hit those 2 strings together again. Okay, just do that once. And then you're gonna do these little, we're gonna be doing like 6 intervals all the way up. And that is gonna be, the first one is going to be at the 9th fret on the G string, 8th fret on the E. And then take that up 2 frets. And then come up to the 12th fret on both the G and the E. And then up to the 14th fret, move that shape up 2 frets. All right. So you see how I'm hitting the G string, then the 1st string, and then doing that on each one. Now after I get to this chord, I'm going to hit it again, but I'm going to start strumming it rapidly across this. Just, you want to mute that string in the middle with your, see how my 1st finger is muting all the strings behind these 2 notes? Just barely touching the strings. And it allows you to do. Here, you're going to have to just strum those 3 strings and let that 2nd string mute that middle string. Then back, so that's 15, and that's 15 on the E string, 16 on the G string. Then you're up to 17 and 17 again on the G and B. The G and the E. Up to 19. And then we're just going to take a bar here with our third finger at the 20th fret on the B and the E strings. You hit that a few times with a whammy bar. So we have all together from these little intervals that we're doing, we have the double stops on the G and the B, over to the B and the E strings, and then we have these sixes. All right, now we've made it to the F sharp section. We're gonna have some bending here. We're at the B note, which is at the 19th fret on the E string. That was a whole step bend at the 19th fret, up, lower it back down, and then pick it again and bend it up again. All right, then we have the 21st fret. We're going to bend a step and a half up to that high E note. Okay, so we have... All right, then we have this little blues phrase. And what's going on there? We have a bend at the 17th fret on the B string, whole step bend, and then we're going to do a roll from the 14 on the E string to the 14 on the B string. Then grab your pinky here at the 17th fret on the E string, and then grab 14 on the octave beneath that A on the 14th fret on the G string. One more time. Then come over and play 14 on the 4th string, then 14 on the 5th, and then 12 on the 5th. Pretty simple lick there. And then we're going to finish out this second solo section with this phrase. All right, so slow that down here. We have the 4th fret whole step bend on the G string. Play 2 on the high E string. Roll over to the B, and then hammer on from that 2nd fret to the 5th fret on the B string. Then we're going to do the bend again on the 4th fret, G string. Come back to the 1st string, 2nd fret. But now we're going to reverse those two notes before. Instead of going 2-5 on the B, we're going to do 5-2. So other than that, it's just the same lick. So we have, sorry, one more time. Now we're going to do the bend one more time. Whole step bend on the 4th fret G, on the G string. Then come over and grab the 2nd fret on the B string, and this is going to start a descending legato line down just the F sharp blues scale. So that's going to be 2nd fret on the B string, then go 5-4-2, just kind of pull it off on the G string, 4-2 on the D string. Then we're going to 4-2-0 on the 5th string, the A string. So I pull all the way off to the open string there. And then we're going to end it with a 5 pulled off to 2. So that whole line, starting on the 2 on the B string. And then he goes to an A note, which takes us into the next section, which is that tapping section. So just grab the 2nd fret on the G string And you'll see while that's going on, you'll hear all these harmonic dive bombs, which is more that whammy bar up against the strings effect, which you can do that and just you know, hit a harmonic on an open string and just go nuts on it or whatever. All right, and that takes us through both of these solo sections, and now all we really have left is this tapping section. So stay tuned for that. It's really cool.